Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
So today's video is one of Mandy's absolute favorite tropes. What is it?
Age gap
Huge gap.
with purpose. Like actual age gap.
That's what Mandy says, but you get what you get.
Oh, you didn't give us actual age gap in your age gap? You're the
I
one who
gave you
freaks
age
out
gap,
about age gap more than I do.
But you're always like, it has to be like the catalyst in the story. That's not always the case in the ones that I read.
No, I don't think that.
Okay.
It doesn't
Well,
have
just
to be that way. But it has to be
are
actual
significant
age
age
gap. 5 years is not an age gap.
Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah,
Yes.
no, actual age gap. Yeah, no, I thought you meant like it had to be like the big thing. Which it is. It plays a part in all of them. But yeah,
The
no.
only time
actual
where
age
I
gap.
feel like 5 to like 10 years is actual age gap is sometimes in like a reverse age gap situation where the woman is older. That can play more into it. But when the man is older, it really needs to be 10 years or more for it to feel like age gap for me.
Even sometimes when it's 10 years, it doesn't feel like enough for me unless she's like really young. And also when she's 45 and he's 65, that is not enough of an age gap. That's just she's older and she chose to date somebody older. It's not a big deal. It needs to feel taboo for sure.
Well, we also are in an age gap friendship.
We are not an age gap friendship. Jeez Louise.
Yes, we are. How
No,
are
we are not. No, we are not. We are
How?
2.5 months apart. That is not an age gap friendship.
What does that mean, though?
It means that I turn a year older 2 months before you turn the next year older.
All I'm hearing is older.
Okay, anyhow, how about you tell the lovely people watching from wherever they're watching what they should be doing or what we would like them to do. We're not going to give them orders. And then let's go.
Well, apparently Jessica would like you to be filling out your trope journal or your TBR journal while you're watching our videos. But we would also really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button and liked and commented, hyped our videos. We are in our 26 books of 2026 giveaway era. And so right now we have 3 books from 3 different authors that are indie authors. I'm going to put the graphic up. I think it's over here.
I don't know. You got to send me the graphic when you make it, though.
And go back and watch our Wednesday video. It's our Brave video. You can, all you have to do is comment on that video to be entered. Well, you need to be subscribed and then comment on that video to be entered to win.
Yay! Okay, fun.
One of those 3 books. So
one of those
lots of fun giveaways happening on the channel.
Yes,
so,
a lot of them.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button for a good time with me and my elderly bestie. Just kidding. She's not elderly.
Yet. So, anyhow, I've got a tickle in my throat. It just won't go away, but we're going to try
also,
and get through
I
this.
apologize. It's really warm in this room, so I have the window open. And besides the rooster and the pygmy goats crying, because they're little tiny babies, I'll have to bring them on the channel one of these days. They're little tiny babies. It's also race car season, so the race car is running outside. So my apologies for all the random noises you may or may not be able to hear. And there are still 11 chickens.
I can hear the baby chicks, but I don't hear.
It's a zoo here, so I apologize. So please don't leave us.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about some books. You ready?
Please, quickly, save this.
Okay. All right. Well, the first book that I have for you guys is a May Alder book. May Alder is amazing at age gaps. Just go read almost any of her books. This one is called, The Guardian's Angel. And this is about Shayla, who is the next door neighbor to James. So James has full custody of his sister's baby boy. Baby is only a few months old. Sister has died of a rare heart condition, and he has sole custody of this baby. He has no clue what he is doing. James is 28. And he has been relying on the neighbor. The neighbor is a mom. She's got a whole bunch of kids. There's kids in and out of their house all the time. And she just had a newborn. She also has an older child, too. So there's a huge age gap in the kids across the street. And so one night, baby's crying, can't get baby to stop crying at all. He calls over to the neighbor. The neighbor sends her daughter over to his house. So he answers the door, and that is where we see Shayla, the neighbor's daughter, her oldest child, standing at the door. She comes in to try and help with the baby. And that is when she realizes that the baby is a breastfed baby and he is screaming his head off because the bottle is not working for this baby. Shayla is a 17-year-old teen mom. So she just whips a tit out and starts feeding the baby. And he stops crying immediately. And for her, it's very natural. It is something that her body can produce. And it's the baby has lost his mama, and that is his only, like, that is how he was comforted. And so she bonds with this baby very quickly. We find out that she has an 8-month-old baby girl as well across the street. James is instantly attracted. Like, there's boobs. Boobs are out all everywhere. I mean, of course he's gonna see a boob. And he's attracted to her in general. He thinks she's older than what she is. She's 17. She turns 18 in the book. But that relationship between the two of them, he brings her on as a nanny. But it is a point of contention for them because she is so much younger than him, and she is a teen mom, and he might also like the breast milk himself. So there's a little bit of kink going on here. But I loved this story. I mean, I loved this story. So,
Okay.
okay.
So I decided to do something a little different with my recs, and I divided each of them into like a little bit of a sub genre, just for
Okay.
fun. So this rec is going to be Forbidden. This is Student Professor.
Okay.
Age gap.
Mandy must have had a lot of time on her hands while I was camping this weekend when she was doing her recs. Okay.
Well, I had a lot of age gap, and so
Yeah.
I was like, how can I do this? And then I was like, ooh, if I did like subgenres, then it wouldn't feel so repetitive.
Yeah.
And because also we kind of messed up and we have best friend's dad as our trope, our convincing video on Thursday. So I was like, I don't want to, so anyway.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So my first one is going to be Tenure by Violet Pierce. Kieran is a high school senior. Her parents have basically decided that she's raised herself and she's good to go. And they are overseas now. And she is really quite smart at math, like really, like very, very good at math. And so she's enrolled in this college course. And the professor, who is James, does not really care for college students. He feels like most of them are a waste of his time and they don't belong in his classes. And he's kind of an arrogant ass. And so when Kieran's in this class, she actually challenges him because she is quite brilliant. And she points out a mistake, and he suddenly is like, whoa, this woman is amazing. She like can challenge me intellectually. Like, he is all for it. And she's looks great. He's very like, he's ready to pursue her. He just has no idea that she's still in high school.
Okay. That's going to be a problem.
I would like to say that she is of age. Okay. But she's still in high school. Like, she is a senior in high school. She's 18.
These books hit a little bit differently when you have children in high school, especially the fact that I have daughters in high school. I don't care. She might be 18, but she'd still be in high school. So I get it. I do get it.
Yes, I do get that.
Yeah.
Also, though, she, like, sometimes with these types of tropes, people get frustrated because they're like, oh, the heroine was immature. Like, why would this man like her? So I think it's really important to understand, like, she's been on her own, basically. Her parents are gone. She's on her own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she is extremely intelligent. And he has struggled to find anybody that can match him in conversation and discussion. Like, I would be like, I know my multiplication tables.
I'd be like, I barely do. But it's also fiction, so it's all good for me.
What?
I know, shocker, isn't it? It's not reading too much into it.
I thought I was reading biographies this whole time.
You might have been. I don't know, but
mind blown.
Mind blown. Okay. Well, the next book that I have to talk about is not only age gap, but it is a cowboy mafia age gap.
So, ooh, cowboy mafia?
And not his baby. It's also not his baby. Okay.
How have I not read this?
I have no clue, but let's talk about it so that you can be refreshed on it. Okay, so this is Tore Up by Abby Glines. This is the first book, or book number 1 in her Mississippi Smoke series. This is about Halo. Halo has this guy that she's been seeing and dating, that she's getting, like, she's supposed to be meeting up with him. They were going somewhere, and I can't remember where they were going, but he was supposed to meet up with her that day. That is when she was going to tell him that she was pregnant. She found out that she's pregnant, and she was going to tell him, and she's very nervous about all that, but he ghosts her. He doesn't show up, and she can't get a hold of him. She doesn't hear from him. She has no clue what happened to him. Well, we know as the readers from the beginning of the book that he is actually gunned down on the street, and he dies that day, and he dies with her name on his lips. Well, then you have Bane, who is the older brother to the boyfriend. And he has been watching because he finally got, like, he was the one who heard the last word that came out of his brother's mouth. And he somehow, and I can't remember how, because it's been a while. I mean, I read this back in the beginning of the year, back in January. Yeah, early January. But he somehow finds out about Halo. Because his brother was engaged to somebody else. Now, yeah, it was more of an arranged thing through the families, but his brother was engaged to somebody else. And so he finds out about Halo. He watches her for a while. And then that is when he realizes that she is pregnant. And he decides that he is going to bring her home, and he is going to keep an eye on her because there's some things that are coming up that he's trying to get some answers out of her, and keep her around through until the end of the pregnancy. Because here's the deal. That is, his brother's dead. That is the last piece that he has to his brother. But there's also a big age gap between the two of them. So that becomes a thing. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. Just that, it wasn't his baby, but he's that gruff, grumpy cowboy guy. And, there's the hurt of the brother being dead. She doesn't even really know. She finds out later that through other means that he's dead. And it's like a whole thing. So he just ghosted her. She had no clue what happened to him.
Interesting.
Yeah. So she's mourning him while being taken in by the other guy.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, my next age gap is billionaire age gap, and it is a 12-year age gap. Our heroine is only 23, and he is 35, and that is The Mysterious One by Marnie Mann. And in this one, Walker he is a very over the top angry chef. So think of those cooking shows where the chef's always screaming and yelling. That would be him. He has just really lost his passion for this, and he feels all of this pressure from his family because they're constantly wanting to expand their restaurants and their hotels, and he's in charge of all the restaurants, and he's really close to losing it. And so we have Albia. She is still living at home. She's trying to save up money so she can move out. But her mom's, I can't remember if he's her stepdad or just the live-in boyfriend, but he's constantly basically shaking her down for money. And so she's having a really hard time being able to save up to get out of this situation. And so she decides one night she's just really frustrated, and she happens to log into this app and hookup app, and she ends up hooking up with him. And they have a really, really great night together. They connect really well. But she's not really in a place for a relationship because she's got this crappy home life she's trying to get out of, and he's super stressed out. So she ends up being able to secure a second job at a restaurant, which she's very excited about because she's hoping that will help her with her career goals in working in the restaurant industry and kind of, be able to move her way up. And when she gets there, she finds out it is at the same restaurant he is the chef for.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, my next age gap, where it is an Omegaverse, but it is a stepfather professor age gap. We're just piling all the tropes in here. Okay, so this is Hours Later by Jen Bullard. This is a dark Omegaverse. It is why I choose, but it is about Nina. Nina is living out of her car and going to college. She is there on scholarship. Her mother, she's up north. I can't remember I can't remember where she was, but she was up north, Chicago maybe area, living out of her car. And her mom is a Southern debutante, and she's never been good enough for her mom. Her mom was married to Cooper when she was young for a handful of years, but they split up, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years prior. She hasn't seen Cooper or his son since. His son is roughly her age. And so she goes to class one day. She's living out of her car because her mother wouldn't pay for her to go to college. So she got scholarships, but the scholarships do not cover her housing. And so she's living out of her fancy vehicle that her mother had bought her. And one day she goes to class, and lo and behold, her teacher is her, or her professor is her stepfather. And she hasn't seen him in years. He barely recognizes her because she's changed so much. But they end up having a run-in, and he realizes that she is her scent match. She also has a couple of run-ins actually, with her stepbrother that she hasn't seen in many years, and he's grown up so much that she didn't really recognize him either. With the minute she realizes it's him, then she realizes it's him. But the mother finds out and comes and gets her daughter and throws her into a psych ward. And it just becomes a horrible situation. The age gap does play a factor into it because it is her stepfather, you know, but he's her fated mate. So, okay, what else you got?
Okay.
Okay.
So my next one is reverse, and she's 40 and he is 27.
Okay.
Okay. So we have The Situation by Adriana Locke. And this is about Tate and Aurora. So Tate meets Kelly. How do you say Kelly Kalapowski? Is that right?
Wait, say it again. Kapowski.
From Saved by the Bell. What was her last name?
Kapowski.
Kapowski. So he meets Kelly Kapowski on a flight, and he is very taken by her. They end up at this airport. They end up going to a hotel together. They have a great night together. Tate is like, he falls pretty quickly for her. He goes home and starts telling everybody that he met this wonderful woman. Her name's Kelly Kapowski. And they all die laughing. And he's like, what are you talking about? So he then learns that she gave him a fake name. Well, it turns out her name's Aurora. She works for the Raptors, and the Brewer family, who Tate is a brewer, owns it. So now things get even more complicated because she is an employee. I really, really, really enjoyed this one. I loved it a lot. I really enjoy Reverse Age Gap, but it was just, it had some great comedy to it as well.
Okay. So this next one is a Claire Kent book. And there's a lot of age gap that Claire Kent has in some of her post-apocalyptic stuff, but there's not a lot of emphasis on the age gap. Now there is on this one a little bit more. I guess there's a couple there might be, but it's not huge. But when the world's ending, does it really matter if he's a little bit older than you?
I have post-apocalyptic on my list, and it's Claire Kent. Are we doing the same one?
Mm-mm.
No.
You haven't read this one yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay, so this is Tower by Claire Kent.
That's not the one on my list. Phew.
I know you haven't read this one yet. So this one is the first book in her post-apocalyptic fairy tales. This is basically based off of Rapunzel, but this is Haley and Levi's story. Haley has lived in a home with her father as the world is ending, and her father has kept her safe. From her window in her tower, she has seen Levi in the mornings go to the river and bathe. And so he is a part of an MC. He is actually the head of the MC, the leader of the MC, and she sees him bathing all the time out there, and she's intrigued by him. Well, her father has died. And so the next morning after her father has passed away, she goes out, she sees Levi, and basically she offers herself to be his wife, to be his woman, if he will take her and take care of her. Now, he is quite a bit older than her, and that is brought up multiple times throughout the book. But he agrees. He has seen her from her window. He is intrigued by her, and hey, the man needs a woman. So in order for protection, she trades her body. And it's very interesting because a lot of the times we see these books when they have like that first encounter and it's this really hot scene and she's all into it and whatever, but that's not what happens here. She realizes that she is offering her body She realizes it's not going to be the best situation, but she's like, let's just get it over with because this is what I am trading to stay safe. And Levi, he's not a great guy. Like, he's a good guy in general where he takes care of her, but most of the men in this world at this point are not the best guys, and he's not going to say no. So, you know, they eventually find their rhythm, but I loved this one. This one was great. Not for those reasons, but this one was great. Just a little different.
Okay.
Okay.
Next, I have post-apocalyptic.
Let me guess. It's a Clara Kent book.
It is. I did Embers by Claire Kent. This is boyfriend's dad.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have Rachel and Cal. They are together when impact happens. And now I can't remember how many years. I think it's been a couple years, and they're just not surviving anymore. Like they have to leave. And so they decide to try and make it to Cal's not apartment. Wow, what am I thinking? Cabin out in the woods. And it's Cal's, oh my gosh, I'm butchering this. Let's just start that over. I can't remember the friend's name. That's what's throwing me. So I guess we don't need to know that because I said Rachel and Cal, and that's not true because they're not together yet.
Cal is not the boyfriend. Yeah.
So we have Rachel and her boyfriend. Impact happens. They're like in high school, I think, or right after high school when impact happens. And now we're a couple years later. A lot of people have died because the air is so bad. So people get like a lung disease and then they end up dying. And so Rachel and her boyfriend are needing to get out of the town. And so because it's no longer safe there. So they decide to go find Rachel's boyfriend's dad, Cal's cabin out in the woods. Now they're kind of in a strange situation, but this is like their last hope. So they start traveling by foot trying to find him when Cal shows up and rescues them. They go, and then we kind of have a little bit of a time jump where they've lived there for a while together, and the boyfriend dies from the lung disease, and now it's just Rachel and Cal. And I think we skip a year or two later, and then that's when things really begin to start to happen between them. So they've been surviving, but now they're together, like stuck in this cabin together, and people's feelings might start to change. But Cal really doesn't feel like he's a great person. He's got a lot of stuff that's happened in his life. And so he wants to take care of Rachel, but he feels like Rachel's just stuck with him. And so it's got a lot of layers of emotions in it because of the age gap. Like, this is his son's girlfriend, and like she's just stuck with him because they're stuck in this cabin together, and there's just a lot to it. Like, it's good for post-apocalyptic age gap.
Okay. Well, my last one is an arranged marriage angsty age gap.
Is it Mafia?
No, it's one that you and I have both read though, and we both really liked.
Arranged marriage. Oh,
and yes. Okay, there we go.
Are you going to show us the book cover?
Yeah, I am.
Nice.
So this is a Marriage of Discretion by S.T. Morse. So I think with this one, because of the age gap, he is able to manipulate her a lot more to get what he wants out of her. But this is about Millie and Alessio. So Millie and Alessio, their families have decided that they're going to force these guys to get married. There's a merger that has to do with hotels and a bunch of things. At the beginning of this book, what we see is that Millie is at they're at like a gala, and one of Alessio's side pieces comes up to her and actually talks to her and makes it known that she's one of the side pieces. And then we go back to the beginning and see how this all played out, because when these two were married, she was only 18 and I can't remember how old he was. I didn't write it down, but there is a big age gap here, and he didn't want to marry an 18-year-old, but the family basically forced him to do it. And when he was like, they met one time before the wedding, and he told her, I am going to have mistresses. And she was okay with it at the time. She was 100% fine with it. She didn't want this marriage either. And so she's like, all right, you have mistresses, whatever. And just, I don't ever want to know about it, basically what the thing was. And so then when they get married, he leaves her at his country estate for about 8 or 9 months until he comes back to find out that she's made friends with one of the stable boys, and he does not like that. And so he decides to take her to see his father. They go on a little bit of a jaunt to a different country, and they go and have this time together. And so at this point, she's thinking that they do have a marriage. because that's when they finally consummate their marriage. But little does she know that he is still having an affair, and he still has mistresses. And so at this point, her world implodes and crap hits the fan, and it is so friggin' good. So friggin' good.
Okay.
Okay, what's your last one?
So my last one, I believe this is called a May December relationship or whatever.
Okay.
So this is a big age gap. I think it's the biggest I've ever read. It's 35 years. She is 29 and he is 64.
Okay.
And that is Krampus Krunk by Serena Peer. So this is a dark Christmas novella. And she so Morgan is at the bar on Christmas Eve, basically avoiding her family. Like, she just doesn't want to go home and deal with them. So she's hanging out at the bar, and Pator walks in, sits down next to her, and they start up a conversation. From there, they end up with a very wild night together. And it just kind of goes from there. So it is a novella, like I already said. It is spicy. I really recommend the audio. Theodore Zephyr does, and Madison Mitz does well, but Theodore Zephyr like just really has this like great grovelly voice that just really encompasses the whole Krampus, feels, I guess you could say. So if you are looking for a huge age gap, this is it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up so I can go get some water, because this tickle in my throat is killing me.
Okay, well, there you guys, there you have it. I think that's normally what you say, though. You say, there you have it. Then I end, but you wanted me to wrap it up. So
I do.
Okay, so there you have it. There's a bunch of different age gaps. It was Taboo Week on our channel. We did not mean for that to happen, but it did. So we hope you've enjoyed them.
Yeah.
So again, go check out our Convincing if you haven't seen that, if you would like Best Friend's Dad. And we also have a whole playlist full of age gap because it is a channel favorite, especially mine. So make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and usually Wednesdays for new videos from us. And don't forget to check out that Brave video to be entered to win some great books.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.